So Jaco, thank you so much for taking the time to talking to us this morning. I would like for you to talk to our audience a little bit of the work you do and the why you started this organization against human trafficking. I know it's something very personal. If you can share with the public about it, please.
Karina, thank you. And I'm so glad for this network and for the work Orlando and you and the other hosts are going to do on this network. I think the Hispanic community needs this voice, and it's called Voice. But what I want people to know is that human trafficking is the fastest growing crime in the world, particularly the Hispanic community, both in US and also in Mexico, as you very well know, is targeted. And so it's also the fastest growing population in America is the Hispanic children. And I feel like we're doing a lot of work helping the American kids, Caucasian, Black, but the Hispanic community to a degree that's very family centric, their family values. It's kind of left behind on this topic. Understanding how predators work in America, how they target children, and not just children that's coming across the border, American-born children, but in Hispanic communities though.
Why do you believe our community, the Hispanic community, is one of the most targeted by these individuals, by these traffickers?
Evil has to break family apart. And the Hispanic culture and Central American culture and the Dominican culture where we've worked is family. I mean, and it's tribal, right? And so also the language barrier is a big problem. So socioeconomic status is a big indicator. Although we see trafficking at every level, right? In the billionaire class, but predominantly in the middle class, in the blue collar class, the hardworking American or hardworking South American or Hispanic families. And then if a child is transient and a child comes across the border, whether the child comes with a parent or not, okay? Even if the child comes with a parent, it's a new environment, it's a new country, you don't know people, you don't know the street names, it's a new culture. So when there's unknowns, predators can come in and become a friend, a helping hand. In my sister's case, my sister was trafficked in South Africa for 6 years. She was trafficked in the music business. And 6 years is a long time. And then we had to learn how people can break people. They can emotionally break people. And normally these predators are so good, they earn your trust. They normally give you something you really desire. So I always say this, they find out something that's important to you. So for my sister, it was music. Okay? So they give her a record deal. They produce an album. There's no father in our house. They become a father figure. For a year, they earn her heart. And then there's a rape, and then there's trafficking, and then there's kidnapping, and then she's gone. And so predators, what I want the Hispanic moms and dads to understand is it is in our communities. It's not always kidnapping. It's local.
What would you tell, for example, the immigrant community that take the risk to send their children sometimes with traffickers, with human smugglers to cross the border? In your experience, because I know you have seen a lot of stuff that they don't, what will be your message for them?
I want those families to know that the American culture, our hearts, is philanthropic to help people, to take care of children. But the danger of sending your child, you're basically, and honestly, you're handing your child over to a human being that will sexually exploit them. We now know, Karina, and this is real numbers, we now know that 60% of the children that come to the Mexico-US border have already been sexually exploited before coming into the United States. Because it's a way of indoctrination, it's a way of dominance, of control. So whether that is just touching a child, force, fraud, coercion. So forcing a child to give sex, touching a child inappropriately, being a voice. And I would say honestly, the good predators, and they never look like bad guys. They look like a helping hand. We're going to help your child have a life in America. Here's the truth to Hispanic families. There is no help. There is no help in America. We don't have help in America. If we arrest a predator today and we rescue a 10-year-old girl in Dallas tonight, we have nowhere to take her.
So there's no shelters? Is there a lack of shelters?
You can't just do a normal shelter. It has to be a human trafficking safe house. The beds are full. Completely full. The women's shelters are full. There's literally nowhere to take that child. So I want South American parents to understand, if that child somewhere in the process gets intercepted by a predator, that child's going to end up in sex trafficking in the US.
How hard it is for the authorities or for you guys to find a child that it's been taken away?
If it's an American-born child that went to school here, that has friends, has fingerprints, right? We only find 2%. If it's a foreign child, if a kid from El Salvador, Mexico, Mexico City, Guatemala, Honduras, come into the US, there's no paperwork, nobody knows that child, you don't find them. And the reason, in my sister's case, she was 12, and so many of the kids are 12 and younger, is because they want to find the girl right before or right as she's going into puberty.
Yes.
Why? Why is that important? Because you're a woman, any woman that's watching, when you go through puberty, you're confused. You don't understand your body. You don't talk to your father that much. You recognize boys. Hormones are firing. And the predator comes in and they say all the right things. They give fake love. They give affection. And really what happens, Karina, is that in a way, they earn the girl's heart. Today, we used to have buyers, pimps, and victims. Today, you don't even need a pimp anymore. It's just, across the border, yeah, but in the US, on social media, you've got people buying children on social media. And so, but when it comes to South American families, my concern is this: nobody is talking to these families, other than you,
Now, boss.
boss now, but nobody else.
Yes.
Honestly,
And this is a reality. It's not. It's not about achieving the the American dream or
this
not.
is not a political statement.
Exactly.
This is about human life, and I want people to know. I will say this: God is my everything, right? So I'll say this: Satan is real, evil is real, and evil is coming for the children. And you cannot trust other human beings with your children. Today, you cannot. And I'm an immigrant. I'm a proud immigrant. I'm from South Africa. I want people to immigrate. I want people to live the American dream. But it's reckless to tell families from other countries to not tell them that there's danger. There's serious, not just physical danger, but children being exploited, and we never find it.
Where can people find more information about your organization? And of course, if they face a situation of having their beloved children or child lost, what was like the first step for a family to try to find or to reach to their...
We have so many resources on our website. I'm so serious about the Hispanic communities,
Yes.
or the Latin American communities. We're translating all our resources.
That's wonderful because, of course, I mean, the language is a barrier.
Yeah,
It's a barrier.
Because I want these families to reach out to us and say, help me, I don't know where my daughter is. Or help me, my daughter is addicted to pornography. Or help me, my daughter is making pornography on herself. Or her boyfriend is forcing her to have sex. Or I think something happened to my child, right? Or just a parent that says, okay, I want to talk to my child in order to make them aware so that they don't become a victim. We have all those resources, and I want people to reach out to us. If we have a resource that's not in Spanish at the moment, we will translate it. I want communities, and we're looking at Portuguese as well, because for the Portuguese communities. But I want people to have tools to make sure that children don't get trafficked, but when there's been a problem, to get them help.
And finally, one more question, because I know that you mentioned before that you guys were working on preventing men or young men to become abusers, because that's, of course, if there's no clients, there's no human trafficking. But so tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so supply meets demand. Because people want this content, someone will produce it. So we have to train young men. We have to get young boys to understand that young boys have to defend women. They have to honor women. They have to honor real intimacy, real love, real relationship, right? We have to get them out of pornography. Porn is destroying the Hispanic culture. So our website, Jaco Booyens Ministries.org or ShareTogetherNow.org. they can find all the resources we're working hard to translate.
Jaco, thank you so much for sharing such an important information with our audience. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you. God bless you.